Alright, what's up everyone? Sean here, and really wanted to make this video for a while, but kind of like what happened with the Super Smash Brothers review. I got a little late on this because, you know, the holidays and stuff like that kept me busy, so I couldn't really make this video for a long while. But here I am. It's still January, barely, but January no less. So I gotta make this top 10 best games of 2018. So basically, there are games that I've played, and I, really feel like I should put them in a list and stuff like that. Put it together all nice like. And the number one game is basically my game of the year for 2018. So that's that. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoy it. So here we go. Number 10. Fist of the North Star: Lost Paradise. This game didn't really need to exist, but the guys from the Yakuza series went ahead and made the Yakuza game with the Hokuto skin, and it simply just works. I mean, there's really not much to it. You just blow up guys with your finger poking and stuff like that, with your fists, your kicks, and that's all there is to it. And the story is not too much different from the anime series, with the exception of like new characters and some sub stories that you can do, just like in the Yakuza series. So it's, like I said, Yakuza with that Hokuto skin. If you love the Hokuto no Ken or Fist of the North Star series and the Yakuza series kind of bunch up into one, this game will definitely put a smile on your face, and I think you'll have a fun time just beating up and blowing up bad guys left and right. And you get to see Kenshiro make a cocktail. How often you get to see that? Number 9. Dragon Ball FighterZ. The explosion of excitement and hype for this game was inextinguishable all the way up to its release, and for the most part, it lived up to it. Its stylish graphics, sounds, gameplay, and its Dragon Ball Z presence dominated the FGC radar for the most of 2018. Although it's a good fighting game that I gave a high rating with, it's far from perfect. As a single player experience, it's pretty limp with its overall dry story mode campaign and a lack of a fun, satisfying arcade mode where you can earn yourself some currency to get more of those emotes or stickers, or not emotes, excuse me, but you know what I mean, with the avatars, the colors and stuff like that. Just something to keep you going in order to play this game. Not to mention, a lot of the issues addressed by the pros and casuals alike have not all been looked into and been addressed, like the damage scaling. I remember being at Evo, and it took a long time for a lot of the players to finish a lot of their games because of the lack of damage that these characters put out, despite putting all the combos in there and their supers and stuff. I mean, we've seen so many Bardock level 3s during Evo Finals of 2018. It was kind of hard to watch at some point, but thanks to the players, they made it really exciting, and they kept that going until it was finished. Not to mention the lack of a proper push block. BB Tag have one that costs meter, so why not here? Either way, it cannot be denied that this took the FGC and Dragon Ball fans by storm, as this was the first traditional and proper fighting game that many have been waiting for. Hopefully it can improve and thrive for its future. Licensing issues, however, been its Achilles heels for right now when it comes to many tournament organizations, including Evo. I really hope it's not a one-hit wonder and we don't see a entry for this year's EVO of 2019. But from the looks of it, it's still getting love and the DLC content for this game. So there might be some glimmer of hope, and especially with Harada being the manager of esports, maybe things will change for this year. Hopefully. Number 8. Overcooked 2. Overcooked was a really fun game with friends, and now it's even more fun with improvements with its scoring system, and it naturally ramps it up on the level designs. I was having a lot of fun with the new throwing mechanics. Overcooked continues to be that fun party game with friends, and it works great on Nintendo Switch. Not much else to it, it's all just good old-fashioned fun, cooking and yelling at your friends, saying the chicken is raw or something, throwing rice, getting the orders out. It's all good fun, right? Next up, number 7.
The wait is over. Let's begin.
Soul Calibur 6. The game was able to return to its roots, and it came with initial success at first. However, its strange balance patches have been putting this game in a strain for many of its fans, since the devs have admitted to balancing the game around the online play rather than the competitive play. Otherwise, if you don't care about the competitive nature, you can still have plenty of fun as a Soul Calibur game with its gameplay and beautiful graphics. And then of course there's that character creation that everyone's loving and putting their pictures on Twitter and showing off their OCs or just ridiculous pieces of art or projects that they do with the parts available in Soul Calibur 6. For the future of Soul Calibur 6, I hope that they put more of the characters from older games like Cassandra and surprise us even more with the possible guest characters that could be coming for this game. It's a bit on the quiet side, so we gotta get a more pizzazz for this game, and I really want this game to kind of really flourish more, like I said, with more characters and stuff like that. Number 6. Monster Hunter World. Despite its shortcomings, it was a really fun game during its launch, and it's still great fun to have with friends in short bursts during new updates like the Behemoth update of the Final Fantasy collab. The franchise was able to grow so much thanks to the game's success, and it still continues to grow with continuous updates and expansions. Let's hope that they improve the game in the right place, or otherwise go with the next game, maybe perhaps a Monster Hunter World 2 or something like that, and hopefully there they can really improve upon the game, because it's a really good initial, my first little Monster Hunter game on a modern console like the PS4, and Monster Hunter World really deserves it. I really hope that they can just expand upon it and add more and more and more, like putting a lot more of the monsters back in there, etc. Number 5.
This looks interesting. Mind if I join the fight?
BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. I named this game the undisputed fighting game of the year. It receives that title from me only because it featured most of the franchises that I never paid too much attention to, with the exception of Persona. I mean, I knew some of the lore for BlazBlue, but that's about it. Then this game went ahead and bunched them all up into one game. But its charming looks, with the sprites and the gameplay mechanics, very reminiscent to Marvel vs. Capcom 1, and then some, made it really fun that I now started to care about Uniest, BlazBlue that much more, especially with Iron Taker. I mean, come on. and of course Ruby. Although hearing the Japanese voices kind of help with that. Games like this really shows that ArcSys has been on a pretty good roll if you ask me, especially with Dragon Ball FighterZ and now this and so on and so forth, and now we're getting the BlazBlue fighting game coming. It just really shows that ArcSys really cares about its fans and their fighting games, you know, mostly, and that's a really good thing in my opinion. And hopefully we can see more for this game. It's been on the quiet side for me anyway. I think we really need to know what the next fate, hopefully coming soon. Number 4.
桐生さん、俺たちのために死んでくれ。頼む。
Yakuza Kiwami 2. Another Yakuza game that I loved overall a lot. Kaoru and Jiro were really great in their storyline. Now I have my gripes about its combat system being a little boggled down from Yakuza 6 unfortunately. However, the storytelling of this game is still really fun, engaging me to the very end, so therefore it's a really great game still, despite the flaws that I've seen. And especially with some of the mini games, I was really into the Cabaret Club stuff, and I had a lot of fun with that, a lot more fun than I initially thought I would, and so I was able to play that little mini game to its end. It had its own story arc and everything, so that was pretty engaging if you ask me. The Yakuza team still really does a really good job with these stories, so I just really want to see more of this stuff, you know, with Yakuza 3 to 5. But from what I've heard, the Kiwami makeover is not going to happen with these couple of games because they've been on PS3, and I feel like it's not necessary to reamp them and taking the time to really make it look good and stuff like that. So they're just straight ported into the PS4 sometime down the road, which is maybe a sign to me that the Yakuza 7 and the Judgment Project is really their priority rather than, you know, putting the Kiwami makeover on the rest of the Yakuza series. While yes, that is initially a bit of a sad thing to hear, I understand why they're not doing it. So if it means that the newer games are actually going to be better, then you know what, why not? I mean, we're still getting Yakuza on the modern consoles. I can't wait for them to pop up, and that means that, you know, that the combat system won't be untouched, so I get to actually experience the combat system as it came out from its appropriate timeline, if you know what I mean. And now we're getting close with the top 3 right in sight. Number 3. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Smash Ultimate may not be the Smash game of the century, but I think its roster is something no competing fighting game should take light of. Everyone is back, and then some, which makes this game the most ambitious Smash game in terms of roster thus far, especially with Piranha Plant coming as its bonus fighter pretty soon. The game still has some lingering issues that Nintendo still appears to be behind on, especially with the online experience. Nintendo continues to push that local multiplayer experience while we live in an age where fighting games really need good online play, not just netcode, but modes as well. Splatoon 2 and Smash Ult are signs that they are still fumbling upon these important parts of fighting games. This time around, the single player experience and the 8-player experience is quite weaker, but the game excels at 1v1 modes or the more competitive modes. I think maybe 2v2 is pretty good as well from what I'm hearing, which makes this game more catered towards the competitive scene. Now, there is still excitement and hope to be had with its DLC coming, starting with Joker of the Persona series. Makes me really wonder if the rest of the DLC packs will feature only guest characters or not. There's only one way to find out. But don't get me wrong, The overall gameplay has been vastly improved with the speed and the feel of the game. It feels really good. So the gameplay, the local multiplayer experience feel overall good, I must say. And the World of Light is exceptional. The classic mode is also exceptional. And there are some improvements that have been made that must give credit, like the language systems, like the multiple languages, and the stage selection experience. A lot of these things have been vastly improved on. So again, I must give those credit where credit is due. I mean, the soundtrack as well. A lot of selection is in the game. You can even make your Switch into an MP3 player pretty much with Smash Music. There's just a lot of selection. So variety is there, but a lot of the other important things are not quite as strong. So again, it's not the ultimate Smash game that we've been waiting for, but it's still worth having on the Nintendo Switch. It's like the game to have if you have a Nintendo Switch.
And the girls
Dr. Mario, through the Abby Howdy!
How they're doing it. The girls are always constantly making
I got Dr. Mario's throw is like him picking up a dead body and just throwing it. Well, I couldn't save this one.
Number 2. My god. Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee. In this case, I went with Team Eevee. Putting that aside though, Pokemon Let's Go is odd but a fun fusion of Pokemon Go, the mobile game, and the traditional Pokemon game that we fans know and love. For the most part, I had lots of fun with the fact that this is only a sample of what it's gonna be like for the core Pokemon game on a console like the Nintendo Switch. So I can't really wait for the core RPG game for this year of Pokemon. It's gonna be a brand new generation. It's gonna be the Pokemon game that we've been waiting for on console. So it's not gonna be like Pokemon Coliseum or Stadium or whatever. This is the Pokemon game on a console for the very first time. Let's hope it's a blast to play. What I also must mention that maybe if they'll do more games or more remakes like this, I wouldn't mind, but hopefully they can improve upon the controls during TV mode, because during with the motion control, not feeling it. So that's why I would love to see improvements on that. But, you know, the graphics, the music, the aesthetics look absolutely great on the Switch. And I believe it'll look even better with the core RPG game for Pokemon. But I must mention, Eevee is adorable as fuck. Now before we go into number 1, I would like to do some honorable mentions of other games I've played but couldn't quite fit into this list. But I still want to, you know, give it a shout out in some way. So here we go. So for the honorable mentions, first one up is Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 was a fun sandbox game that had an intriguing enough story for me to keep playing and messing around with. Fun and funny moments were had. However, people gave the game a lot of flack for its endings. Now, these games aren't really known to have happy endings, so I was able to tolerate it, kind of knowing that fact. Having to play Far Cry 4 previously and kind of knowing about what happens with Far Cry 3. And oh, spoiler alert, the nuclear bomb ending is seemingly the canonical ending according to Far Cry's newest title, New Dawn. I don't know if I'll get the game when it's released, but we'll find out how New Dawn will fare with the Far Cry fans. Next one up is Mario Tennis Aces. Aces is the better game comparing to its Wii U brethren. It controls great, it has the spirit of what Mario Tennis was to me. The single player mode was fun at the time, but boy, it can be brutal. Especially with the CPU, the newly designed courts, especially with the stupid pole in the middle, that really amps it up. That's pretty much all I gotta say about the game. Lastly, we have the Persona 3 and 5 dancing games, Dancing in Starlight and Dancing in Moonlight. I have both of the games via bundle, and I have yet to wrap my hands around the game. The only time I played it was my friend's Japanese copy, and I had fun trying to learn its controls, but from the visual aspect of it, it retains that Persona 5 appeal, and the dance moves look great on our beloved characters. I feel like this game would be great fun on a recreational or laid-back level. I mean, it's a rhythm game after all, so it's kind of difficult with this situation anyway to really plant this in a top 10 list, but maybe if I really went super deep into this dancing game, maybe that would have determined where it land in the top 10 list. But for right now, from what I've experienced, it's a little hard to do. But I will love to get around to it and kind of just, you know, play around with it, see the characters dance around with the music and stuff like that, with the silly costumes. But now we go into number 1. And our number 1 game for best games of 2018 in my personal list, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. The latest Yakuza game takes my personal game of the year for 2018. I was blown away by the power of the Dragon engine that can render out these kind of graphics on the console for a game like this. The combat system was reworked and it was fun during the time, though it could have used a little more pizzazz for me. But I was so hooked on to the story that I gave this game a 10 out of 10, but maybe now it's a 9 out of 10, kind of seeing how it aged with me a little bit. I just wanted to change one thing in the story, and that's during the biggest twist during the game that involves with Onomichi's secret. But either way, the supposed last chapter or game for our hero, Kazuma Kiryu, was a good note to end on, I believe. What really helped also with the story was the characters and the casting for those characters. I was just absolutely glued into my seat. I wanted to stream this like every single night, which is a kind of a rare feeling, at least for nowadays. I can't wait for the Yakuza 7 game starring Kiryu as a supporting character and a brand new protagonist on the rise. So that's pretty much it. I did my best to keep this a little brief, but, you know, meaningful at the same time with this top 10 best games list for 2018. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys find it informative, at least to some extent. If you have your own top 10 best games from 2018, please leave them down in the comment section below. I'd love to check them out. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up and hit the subscription if you want to see more videos like these. I will do a top 5 disappointing games for 2018 next, so please look forward to that. And if you guys really want, and of course if you guys want to, you can check out the sponsorships like Loot Crate and Into the AM. Really supports the channel, and you guys can get out of it too, of course, as always. Again, it's really appreciated, guys. So again, this has been my top 10 best games of 2018 in my personal experience. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Sean out.